Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Finney. I'm the President and CEO of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. Welcome to our periodic Technology Committee meeting. I really appreciate our Chair, Yuda Saidoun, inviting me to say a few words before the meeting kicks off. We're excited about all that's going on within the Tech Committee, and especially given some of the challenges that we have in our community right now. We see a tremendous opportunity as we work through and recover from the challenges that we have. I know that the committee is going to share some exciting news around talent enhancement activities that are underway. That's been an ongoing effort, and I think it's important that we continue to focus on that, especially given that we're moving to this new normal of working remotely, and that has lots of implications for our community and for tech in general. I also think, though, that a lot of our smaller businesses, especially small tech companies that are really looking for some of that early capital and other resources, are finding it challenging in this environment that we're in. And hopefully some of the actions that are being taken will also represent opportunities to address the needs of those tech startups that are really trying to find their way in this challenging time that we're in. So I won't take up too much of your time today. I really just wanted to welcome everybody and extend our sincere appreciation for all the hard work that you're doing to really help this community recover as we come out of this crisis, ideally sooner rather than later. So thanks a lot, Yuda. Appreciate the opportunity. Christine, I appreciate you for inviting me to say a couple of welcoming words. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks for making the time. Thanks, Christine, for allowing all this and putting it all together with the team. And thanks to everybody. Also, thanks to everybody who's joining us. We have over 180 persons who have RSVP'd so far, and hopefully this will be an informative session for you all. So we're going to provide a quick update on what the Tech Committee has been up to in the last 3 months. And my name is Yuda Saidoun. I'm a longtime Miami resident who arrived here from Europe via California. And my remarks are also going to be very short because the stars of this session are the projects and the teams that have made it happen. So a couple of years ago, when I first met Luis Tribin, who was the previous chair, he had launched the idea of AI as a driving force and organized a series of sessions with the different use cases for AI. And then when I took over, Christine and I brainstormed and worked together to see how we could continue that and bring more AI to Miami. In fact, we started out with a large-scale thought. Then we obviously, like everybody else, had to scale back at the time of the crash. And we did though, spend a lot of time in terms of launching surveys and interviews to understand what the overall community's needs and pain points were. In fact, Yap and his team also helped us a lot. And then in around February or March, we scaled back and focused on something that would be much shorter term, and that would be within the overall goals of the Miami Beacon Council of building this attractive hub, but also would have some more immediate, relevant, rational, and easy to launch projects, which could be completed in a matter of a sprint of 10 weeks or so. So today, I'm delighted to see the participants tell the community about what we've all been preparing. It's basically a series of initiatives dedicated to making some big dents in supporting the county's recovery and talent development with the intention of leveraging the innovation that's here in Miami, that's available here, and bringing to bear the talents and resources of our tech community in a manner that would engage a broad section of the community and provide a tangible, relevant, immediate series of results. So with that, some of the input from the opinion leaders and the core group that we had talked with, after several brainstorms, came up with 5 main areas of pain, of which we selected 3 and had 3 committee members volunteer to each take one of those And that's where we are today. So one of those was the confusion around data. So we were talking about a data-driven tool that's a social distance detector. And then the second one, very clearly, was helping those who had lost their positions to recover, reskill, upskill, and continue strengthening the talent pool and the attractiveness of Miami. And the third one was a collaboration between three universities, three of the main universities here, FIU, MBC, and U of M, to develop a strategy for post-disaster response, in particular in the area of critical infrastructure, cybersecurity, and so on, as part of a much bigger initiative of the three universities to create a cyber hub here in Miami. So from my perspective here, I have been very intensely delighted, let's say, to see how everybody has been working together over weekends and evenings and so on. So they deserve a lot of applause and recognition. And it also highlights the role of the Beacon Council as a force, as a multiplying force that can bring together the private and public sector, bringing together bridges, building bridges, generating coalitions that can move the needle for the benefit of all. So with that, I will turn it over to Christine to introduce the next speaker. I would also say that each of the projects, as you'll see, was driven by a set of brilliant volunteers that work within tight deadlines and a tremendous commitment to deliver pragmatic, timely, relevant results. So with that, Christine, if you'd like to please say a few other words and introduce the first speaker.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. We are really excited, and I'm not just saying that. It's been, as Yuda mentioned, a great deal of work over these months and commitment by all of these amazing volunteers and members of the business community. We're excited to highlight the ideas that have been brought to the table, projects that have really come to fruition, and just really to show what can happen when we come together as a business community to find solutions to problems in our community. So with that, I will kick the ball to our friends, the university partners, to share about their initiative.
Good morning, everyone. This is Antonio Delgado. I'm the Dean of Engineering, Technology, and Design at Miami-Dade College. And I'm gonna be sharing my screen to show you what we have been doing. So give me 1 second to start presenting. So great, here is the presentation. So back in March of this year, the last meeting in person from the Beacon Council, the three institutions, FIU, Miami-Dade College, and UM, were invited to provide an update on what we were doing to create talent development here in our region. So the three of us presented, and the common factor from the three presentations was cybersecurity. So right after that meeting, the three of us came back and said, you know, we have so many strengths in cybersecurity that let's work together. Let's make it happen. Let's work on helping Miami becoming a hub in cybersecurity. So right after, when COVID hit Miami-Dade, and when the Beacon Council decided to work on the 1MPACT initiative, we were ready. We were ready to jump in, and through the collaboration and the strengths of each of our institutions, we decided to put together a proposal that we're happy to share today with all of you. So I would like to introduce my colleague from FIU, Dr. Sal Cook, to introduce the first initiative of many that we'll be presenting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Selçuk Ulaç. I'm a professor at FIU, teaching cybersecurity IoT classes. So as Antonio mentioned, in collaboration with UM colleagues from the Institute of Data Science, we're going to be organizing a workshop, and also in collaboration with the Miami Beacon Council. We really thank their, for their great support. So the title of our workshop is Post-Disaster Smart Response and Resilience in Critical Infrastructure, Security, and Data. This is actually very important given our pandemic situation. The critical infrastructure resources such as smart cities, smart grids, power plants, water management systems, oil and gas distribution systems, They generate a lot of data that's useful for our daily lives. So in addition to the probable loss of connectivity, a disaster scenario can also lead to major damages to the critical infrastructure involving cybersecurity and data. So the goal of this workshop is to bring all the local community together, key stakeholders from the local city officials, from the academia, and from the industry, and then discuss all these pressing issues and understand the behavior of the critical infrastructure and the behavior during and post-disaster scenarios. The tentative deadline that we have is that we're going to be collecting some participants' submissions, either short papers, short abstracts, by mid-September. Then by October, towards the end of October, we're going to be coming up with the full agenda, and then we're planning to have hopefully the workshop in November. So we're going to be announcing the call for participation and call for papers shortly, and you're going to be hearing from all of us. So what will be the format of the workshop? It's going to include talks, panels from contributors, area experts, researchers, city officials. It will be half a day to a full day. As I said, it's going to involve all of the all of you, and you are going to be all be part of this workshop. You're going to be discussing and learning from the best practices from all of you. So we are also open to your supports in many ways, not only just direct participation. You're welcome to connect to us, and we'd be happy to have the dialogue with you all. Also, I want to mention that this is the part of the 2 workshops. The second workshop will be organized on workforce development, on cybersecurity and data science. That's going to be in spring as well. We're going to be also getting the support from some government agencies for our workshop, which we are currently working on, like National Science Foundation. So we are very excited about this workshop and really looking forward to all the community's support and participation. So next slide. So this is the organizing team. So as I said, me and my colleague from FIU, other colleagues will also be involved in the technical program committee from the industry and from the local city officials. But this is the main organizing team from FIU College of Computing, Engineering and Computing, from University of Miami Institute of Data Science and Computing, and Miami-Dade College, and also Miami Beacon Council, UDA as well, are part of the OC team. Okay, are there any questions, Christine? So how should we do it?
Any questions? We have time now for questions, and we also have open time at the end as well.
Before we jump to questions, I would like to invite Jim Bottom from the Institute for Data Science and Computing to say a few words about.
Yes.
Sure. Well, Antonio and Selkut covered things pretty thoroughly. So just to maybe fill in around the edges, we've also engaged a National Science Foundation Center of Excellence in Cybersecurity, and they've agreed to help us out with planning. Basically, they said anything we want, they're willing to help us out with, and I think that'll help to provide input from other. They have a pretty good national view of regional and local activities that are going on around the country. So that should be a good plug-in for us. And as Selkut also already mentioned, we just yesterday received some feedback from NSF, and they pointed us to a specific program to talk to, and we'll be talking about next steps with the funding after this meeting today. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions at this time? You can raise your hand. Okay, we'll hold it to the end. All right. Thank you. Thanks, team. So next up, we're going to go ahead and pass the ball to Charles to share about the new data-driven business tool in response to COVID-19.
Awesome, thank you. Good morning, everyone. And for those of you that have not slept, like Christine and myself, good evening. I'm one of the subcommittee leaders focused on new technologies and business models. And what we were trying to do was figure out what innovations or business problem-solving solutions that we could introduce to kind of respond either to COVID-19 or help businesses kind of move forward in this new reality that they're facing. And so a lot of the goal that we were, or the parameters of our initiative was, we need to have something that's sustainable, that is not incredibly cost effective. We don't want to introduce any operational cost to businesses or partners. In addition, that it's a solution that really can go for the long haul in terms of implementation and lasting. And so with that said, together myself and all the committee members across all of Beacon Council got together and we defined what we felt were the top 6 priorities that we wanted to focus on. They're considered on the right side. And then what we did was that we worked together to put a survey and understand kind of the priorities of those issues. So the first top priority that was identified by a lot of our members was there was no single source to trust and follow in the wake of a pandemic. It was very hard to follow what was the right path or best practices to address something. What's the best parameters to operate an office with a physical space with many people in it, and so on. The second one was lack of access to data for personal business decision making. So resources to help make decisions on how to operate a physical location or retail office, or in the process of reopening the economy, what are the best practices when dealing with, for example, the most common issue with retail locations is they had long lines for people waiting for services. So aside from managing the 6-foot distance, what else could be done to optimize the spaces, address the issues, people not following the mandates and so on. And then lastly, which was a 3-way tie, was no feedback loop at a hyper-local level. This was actually brought up by one of our members who is a CIO of the city of Coral Gables, where he felt that there was a big need to communicate with local citizens on important resources like testing locations, safe spaces or places to be commercing in, and so on and so forth, as well as 2 of the others that you probably heard already: lack of preparedness in the event of another pandemic, and again, no single source to follow. And so with that, and with the constraints of our initiative, we decided what could we do to address some of these issues. And over the course of the last 3 to 4 months, we developed 2 solutions. One has been promoted over to Miami-Dade, and another one that we're going to be presenting today. So the first one was COVID Safe Pass. If you're not familiar with COVID Safe Pass, it's an open source, free solution that helps, oops, I went too fast, that helps with contact tracing. The general norm when you're dealing with a pandemic, the most important tool, the most important approach is contact tracing. And the best way to do that is trail traceability, location trail traceability. Now, prior to COVID-19, if there was some kind of outbreak or you were sick, the technological way that you would approach contact tracing is probably a pen and a paper, and then guessing. So you would have to guess where you were for the last few days, draw it on a piece of paper, share that with your healthcare provider, and then from there you try to deduce what happened, how you got sick, and so on and so forth. And what COVID Safe Path introduced was a safe and private way, meaning your data was private, you only shared it based on consent, to your healthcare providers and other officials on where you've been for the last 14 days, the full length of the COVID-19 exposure. And we were very excited with the solution. We work very closely with our partners in Miami-Dade, and they're going to continue leading on the project. So from there, with the time that we had left to now, what else could we do? What else could we provide to the community? And so being an engineer, there's a joke that says, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So with that said, I said, we could solve this with AI somehow, some way. What could we do? And so the inspiration was, I have 2 children that I lovingly, affectionately call my experiments because I have no idea what I'm doing. And we are in the Disney age. And so Disney reopened. And what did Disney do? They had a lot of fun. They put stormtroopers on their properties and are enforcing people to wear masks make sure that there's social distancing from other parties, and so on. And as a rule of thumb, especially with a background in AI, computer vision is, or rather anything that a human can really see or identify very quickly can also be done with machine vision. And so we decided that we're going to implement a very similar solution. So we came up with the social distancing detector. And we want it to be simple. We want it to be easy to deploy. We want it to cost nothing to the end user, so the businesses that want to deploy this will put this in place. And we want it to be as accurate as possible on a couple of feature sets. So the first feature that we were very much focusing on is social distancing. So are people properly the 6 feet or more apart that they need to be? And this is a very similar inspiration from what even Amazon is doing inside their distribution centers and their corporate offices. They're using the same technology to help manage their large employee base. And so we wanted to enable that for small businesses that do not have the resource or access or the expertise to build these solutions. And Beacon Council wanted to provide the solution for free at no cost to those businesses in helping us reopen retail, commerce, and so on. The next set of features that we're going to be introducing is mask recognition. And we're working through a couple kinks. For example, the machine vision right now thinks my beard is a mask, so it approves me. So we're going to work through that right now. But it's a free solution that I think is going to be very effective for a lot of what we're going to be experiencing in the next few months. And so what I want to do really quickly is show you a couple of samples of the machine vision working in real time. The first one is the first draft that we published, and this is something that we took a camera feed from a campus. If you can tell, there's a gray perimeter box that we've locked down as a corridor. And what's cool about this, and this is where I'm going to start nerding out, is the machine vision dynamically identified these doors here and automatically resized contextually the space. So it has a good bearing of what 6 feet looks like and who's participating, who's not. The second one was, and this was a low traffic corridor. So now we're testing it in a high traffic corridor. And on the next feed, you see we took a shot from a mall. And so at a lower level, we're identifying all the different people walking and measuring the distance. Again, if you can see very clearly, there's a perimeter there that we're working with. We're developing a solution so that it can take many different angles. It can dynamically find measurements in the picture it's looking at, and very, very quickly provide a response in real time what's happening. And so this is focusing much on the social distancing aspect. Next iteration is going to have the face mask iteration. And effectively, it's going to be 2 AI models, one for distance, one for masks. And so we're still working through it. We'll be finalizing hopefully this weekend, and with enough coffee, I think we'll make it. And then we're publishing it publicly next week for everyone. And so with that said, we need help, and we could really use your help. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be hosting a couple workshops where we're going to be teaching local businesses and IT folks, if they want to implement this locally for themselves, we'll walk you through that. All the engineers that have been working on this project will be on that workshop, answering questions and doing live tutorials about how to implement it. But what makes this solution better is data. And so what we're looking for is commercial partners or retail partners that would want to work with us, give us some data or give us access to some of their CCTV cameras that focus on lobby areas so that we can better train the models and make them more accurate and more efficient. In addition to that, if you don't have a retail location, but maybe you do know someone that might be interested, any introductions to potential partners would be a great help for us. And this is something that we're very excited to be rolling out. Again, it's going to be an open source, zero cost solution that we'll be sharing with others. And we're really excited to be working with Beacon Council on delivering something like this for the community. And with that said, any questions, concerns, anomalies? I also, I know everyone here on the panel knows, but I'm also really like dad jokes. So if you can share any of those, that would be great.
Great presentation.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hold until the end. Okay. Again, as we do the Q&A, even the open floor discussion, just go ahead and raise your hand. That way we can manage it. We have quite a number of participants, which is great. So transitioning on, and also I just want to also echo what Charles mentioned about all of us working hard, even last night with text and emails and everything. There's a lot of energy, including the next group that you'll hear about this initiative. In fact, I think that maybe they have gotten about 3 hours sleep, bringing things to a close. The dynamic team, shout out to General Assembly, Career Score team for Geeks Academy. So I'll go ahead and ask Charles to release the screen. And then we are going to bring up Ken Finneran, our chair-elect, to talk about the Talent Development Initiative to upskill and reskill. Charles, your presentation is still up.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate that. And I hope everyone, can everyone see my screen first and foremost? Want to make sure that that is happening. Great. Want to get into the presentation around the Miami Reskilling Coalition. And this was an initiative, as you've heard from the other two teams, our committee has really come together in a way that I have seldom seen before. And part of that may be due to the new macroeconomic realities, socioeconomic realities that we are facing right now. But the response to the talent development component that we are have been working on since March has been absolutely overwhelming, and overwhelming in a positive sense, that the community has come together in a way, sharing resources, thoughts, feedback, input, in a way that has enabled us to put together in a very short time frame an amazing output, which you will see in terms of a new portal servicing the community and helping many of those who have been negatively impacted by the economic situation right now to have access to resources, as well as companies who are actively hiring, who are active in the reskilling and upskilling of talent. So first and foremost—
Pardon me, I'm sorry, Ken, can you hit the present mode?
I thought I did. I'm in present mode. Are you all not seeing this move forward?
If you hit the, oh, sorry. I mean, in the, if you go ahead and share your screen again, so I want everyone to see everything fully. And then hit present right beside, at the top, right beside Newton Kare's photo.
Yep, I just did that. Is everyone seeing my screen?
We see it, it's just not in present mode. We can,
I just changed it to present mode, and so I'm seeing it in present mode.
Okay, no worries. We can still see it though.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
So part of the reason, let me stop sharing this for a moment, because Christine, do you mind taking control of the screen, because perhaps I'm having an issue with that. If that's the issue, I can continue speaking to it.
Let's see. Actually, I'm going to kick the ball to either Newt or Kare. Do you have the? Okay.
Ready.
No, it's fine. Teamwork.
Exactly. And this is the type of teamwork we've had all along. So again, apologies for that.
No,
I see Carrie
no
is screening. That's fantastic. And that's what I was seeing all along. So again, the Reskilling Coalition, and Carrie, if you don't mind going to the next slide. Part of what we started with was really looking at why are we doing this, and very quickly, and what is the problem, much like Charles was presenting. And we, as all of you know, the employment rate has been dramatically impacted by this new socioeconomic climate, with the unemployment rate rising significantly over the past several months. In addition to that, we knew that many of the jobs were found through networking and personal networks rather than simply going to a website and seeing them. So we wanted to make sure that whatever solution we put out there, it had a personalized element to it. Following that, we knew that many of the jobs that were being marketed on social media sites, including LinkedIn, were actually not available. And as an HR professional, I know that personally. So we wanted to do some vetting and make sure that the jobs we are presenting on the site are real, credible, and curated for those who are coming to the site. Again, much like the previous presentation, there was no central hub listing these type of opportunities. So again, the community has come together to present a one-stop shop for that in the form of a portal which gives you all of those elements. As mentioned before, we assembled this tech coalition from many members of the tech community, and we invite you listening in to please become an active part of this community. You see some of the logos of those who were involved in the process of developing this portal. The portal itself has the goal of, do you mind going back, Carrie? Sorry. To provide those who were recently laid off or facing reduced working hours an opportunity to gain career development coaching, credentials in digital skills, and intimate access. That is the partnership with many of the coding schools, with the universities, as well as then with many of the companies, as well as the recruiting companies who are actively sourcing talent and getting people re-engaged, re-employed at this critical time. And those are our primary goals and efforts. Next slide, please. And so before I hand over to Carrie, I wanted to present you all with this new website, which is live. It is also mobile friendly. And our goal was to present a 3-month MVP, a free to the community portal powered by the web platform miamitech.works, with the goal of centralizing and connecting local talent, academic programs, and leading companies to accomplish that goal that we just mentioned of helping individuals become re-employed and or develop talent, develop skill sets that would enable them to be attractive resources for those companies in the tech community here in South Florida. So with that, and as a further demonstration of the great partnership of many of our coalition partners, I'm going to hand it over to Carrie, who has been an essential part of putting this platform together. Thank you to Carrie. Thank you to the folks at 4Geeks. Thank you to Newton and the whole team that you will see mentioned later for helping to put this portal together. So Carrie, with that, and in the interest of time, I want to hand over to you.
Yes, thank you, Ken. As he mentioned, we got together to try to figure out how we can connect the unemployed community to the tech opportunities and to reskilling opportunities. But we wanted to go beyond the tech platform because we knew that having the information centralized on a digital static platform wouldn't be enough. So really what this is a 3-month outcomes program, because we realized that the students at FIU, the students at General Assembly, WinCode, 4Geeks were receiving the career coaching support. But if you are maybe an IT guy that recently got laid off from a company and you've been wanting to pursue that cybersecurity reskilling path, you don't know how to start or where to start, on who to talk to help you talk through that time of your life, which is actually quite complicated. And so, like Ken mentioned, the entire experience really starts at Miami-Dade.works, which is live thanks to the engineering team. And what this platform does is 4 things. First, it presents the curated jobs that we have been able to scrape from the web, obtain from private databases, thanks to the guys at Benjamin Douglas. And these are jobs within tech companies in Miami that have been posted within the last 20 days and that are currently active and ready for professionals to find them. It also lists the local skill pathways. It provides career coaching for the professionals, and it has in-person workshop and resources. So like I was mentioning, the jobs section will list jobs in 10 categories: engineering, product, design, cybersecurity, IT administration, cloud computing, machine learning, and AI that are available in Miami-Dade County or remotely for Miami-Dade County residents. Once again, jobs in tech, also operations. Ken, Yuda, and Christine have done an amazing job of reaching out to the companies and asking them to send us their jobs, but we are looking for more of you that are currently hiring tech jobs. There's a button on the side where you can post a job, so send it our way. And obviously the participants are going to be able to filter through those. Right below it, if you see the jobs, you should be able to see how to get that job, which is the part that we did for the learning, the skill paths. What this means is that WinCode, General Assembly, 4Geeks, FIU, Miami-Dade College, sent us all of the reskilling paths for the community, potentially short-term, but we also have the IDIS, the data science program at the University of Miami listed in these categories. So if you are looking at the job that you want, right below it, you're looking on how to get there, and you're able to talk to one of our admissions professionals, request the syllabus, and understand more of what the program requires from you. And finally, after you looked at that job and you looked at that reskilling pathway and you're wondering, how the heck am I going to figure out if this is really for me? The team at Benjamin Douglas, a recruiting company here in Miami, and the Dougs have volunteered their team, their 14-person team, and themselves 15 hours a week donated to the community to talk to one-on-one to professionals that have recently been laid off and that are needing this guidance. These are going to be one-on-one sessions where they can ask anything from, hey, I haven't applied to a job, to what kind of jobs are you seeing, to is this really for me, to what does my resume look like, is my LinkedIn doing okay? Can you teach me about applying on LinkedIn? Because we all know that if you haven't been applying for a job recently, that muscle memory has probably been a little outdated. And finally, through Quotanda and Career Score, and Newton Porter, that's going to be speaking here shortly, our community is able to access Career Score for free. What is Career Score? Career Score is a plug-in button that you download. It goes to your Chrome, and you're able to drag and drop, organize, and filter the jobs that you have been applying for so that you can track your efforts in an organized manner. So these are the jobs that you've saved. These are the jobs that you've been able to apply for. These are the jobs that you've been able to follow up with. These are the jobs that you already had an interview. So this is a great, it's not even a startup anymore. It's a great company out of Miami that does this already for career coaches and organizations across the country. And they've opened it free to our community for this program. And lastly, we knew that having a platform wasn't enough. We knew that we didn't want to create just a digital platform. We knew that we needed the human connection, because while we were talking to the unemployed community, they said, the worst part about this process is that I can't talk to humans. There's just robots behind LinkedIn. It's softwares and organizational websites. How do I talk to some people? And so we've created a series of workshops. There are 28 workshops currently live on the site that have been, it's an amazing effort by Miami-Dade College, 4Geeks, General Assembly, obviously, Think Global, Refresh Miami, and we have came together to put together workshops to also help the community transition through this period of time. There are both career development workshops and technical workshops. And obviously, we're also doing Hiring Spotlight, which was that component that I was referring to, which is talking to hiring managers and HR professionals at the same companies that were listed above with as companies that are that have job availability. And we're gonna get the HR managers to share what the job expectation is like, what the culture of the company is like, what they're looking for in talent, if they're looking to hire locally. We want to make sure that humans are able to talk to humans. So it goes beyond maybe a career fair. It goes beyond maybe a hiring event. It's constant contact with a community in Miami that is hiring to be able to humanize that job search. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Newton right now, because I want to give kudos to the entire team that built this, because it's been 2 months of hard work. And it's been a lot of engineering, coding, data science, natural language processing. So Newton, why don't you come off mute and tell us who these amazing humans are?
Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, it's been a all hands on deck effort from a lot of folks across organizations here locally. I'd like to thank Bernardo for putting together a data team, really the mastermind behind data science and pulling in fresh job postings, categorizing them, Alejandro, and really the entire Fort Geeks community who he and Bridget were able to rally to this cause and put the muscle behind building this platform. Of course, you, Carrie, and kind of leading the charge. And this is the platform team here, but this was a cross-functional effort. We had marketing teams, we had people focus on reaching out to companies who aren't listed here as well. Jonathan from Alchemy, who led our front end, and a number of others who contributed across design, engineering, data, who really made this a reality, some of which who are working into the late hours of evening many times over the past weeks. And what does collaboration look like in the world of COVID? This is it. We were on Zoom calls, in Slack, in Figma, async, real time, making it happen, and just an amazing effort of individuals putting in, hours after work, on weekends to, try and give something back to the community. And, there's a lot of amazing companies here in South Florida. There's a lot of opportunity, and it's really refreshing. And, I think everyone enjoyed the project, and we hope we can have a large impact in helping people get back to work within Miami Tech.
Yeah, and I want to close by asking the community for two things. Number one, sharing this platform, because if we build it, people have to come. So Christine and the Beacon Council will be reaching out to everybody with a press kit and social media materials and collateral to be able for your organizations to spread the word. We need people that need help. We want to get to work. And I'm also going to ask you for, if we're missing your program, send us your information. We know that we couldn't capture everybody. If we are missing jobs, send us the jobs. And if you're willing to produce a workshop, host an event, let us know as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Carrie, Newton, and the entire team that contributed to this effort. It was a monumental effort and took a lot of long hours, and really appreciate everyone's involvement. I think through the presentation, you hopefully also saw the dedication of the coalition partners, and thank you to all who have already added content, thoughts, and feedback. And we invite the rest of you to contribute in your own way to what's already been created, as Carrie just said. With that, back over to you, Christine.
Okay.
So I guess,
Yuta.
Go ahead, Christine, please.
No, I was going to kick the ball to you, actually.
I got it. Okay. So thank you, everybody. As you see, there have been some amazing people doing amazing work over the last 3 months, and the outcome is tangible. The outcome will have impact, and I think I also have to give credit and congrats to Christine and the Miami-Dade Beacon Council team, including Maria on the marketing side, Yap on the research side, and many others who participated. And it's like these 3 months have brought out the best of each party. The Beacon Council as a connector and as an amplifier into the community, the corporate and opinion leaders as sources of input for what would work and what would be useful, and the entrepreneurs and the creative community that's really come together to prove that there is tech in Miami. We do have brains and we do have talent. And so in the end, I think it's now up to us to take these and take them to the next stage of implementation, making sure that the university's initiative gets the visibility and the success, making sure that the social distance detector gets deployed in as many places as possible, also gets visibility, and of course making sure that we refer any potential candidates to the education coalition and also make sure that all this becomes even more tangible. With that, I'd like to open up for questions. If there's anybody who have questions before I start calling on you, please go ahead and raise your hand and ask any questions.
I think Ilona was the first.
Ilona, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my question was for the AI presenter. So the technology, from what I understood, it identifies whether people are wearing masks or not wearing masks, or abiding by the 6 distance. What does the user do with the information?
So the ideal implementation is a self-governance approach is what we're thinking. So if you're familiar with experiences like, and I'm sorry, this is my only example, but if you go to Target and there's a big screen that says you're being recorded and it shows you walking into the mall, we were thinking of a similar implementation, but with an overlay that says you're not socially distanced or you're not wearing a mask. The idea was to remove that need to, in my Disney example, having that stormtrooper there saying you can't come in unless you wear a mask. Maybe this is more of a soft notice for people to let them know that you need to be wearing a mask for coming in. It's really driven to be a self-governance tool, not meant for you to put someone monitoring 100% and trying to enforce it in that way. Does that make sense?
Very similar to the traffic lights that flash your speed and just invite you to self-decide on what you want to do. So it's the same concept. I think it's very powerful in that sense.
Exactly.
Agreed. I think it's so important because from what I understand, unless people begin to feel safe, they're not going to go out. So if a center, a store, a retail area can ensure people that there is this safety measure, it's going to increase their sense of safety, and it's going to encourage consumers to go out and bring back the economy quicker. So I think it's a fantastic tool.
Thank you.
And also hats off to the Strata team for having taken this on as a open source project. So wonderful stuff. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, sir.
Other questions or comments, please?
If I can, I was thinking while we're waiting for everyone to get their question, looking at Antonio and team, to just share quickly how this all evolved. This, the project, I know that you all had quite a wonderful conversation during one of the tech committee meetings, and so this is just a powerful alliance. If you can share quickly about how this all came to fruition.
So definitely each of the 3 institutions have strong programs in cybersecurity. So talent development is one of the things that we are going to be working together really closely, and how each of us provide different elements at different entry points. So that's coming. In terms of this particular workshop, I will pass it to Jim and Selkirk, and the core and how it came out.
Jim, you want to take the lead? And I
Go ahead, Selkirk.
Okay, so basically, as Antonio mentioned, and also as Jim mentioned in his, presentation, there's a great need in this, South Florida community for a resilient cybersecurity and cybersecurity infrastructure, and we are, all have been doing different initiatives, research, and also teaching activities. We wanted to come together, especially given the pandemic situation. We wanted to understand and create a dialogue among the community here, the needs, how we can help actually through this workshop, how we can understand what are the needs of the, for example, cities. We've been, closely collaborating with some cities, but we would like to, hear, from other also colleagues in other cities as well in the region, and we can learn through this workshop the best practices and what we should do. And we are always prone to, in this area, to hurricanes, to natural disasters. So that was the spirit of this. Since we are basically also strong, as Antonio mentioned, in research, as academics, as we would like to bring the best practices to the table when we are discussing all these different approaches in the community for post-disaster or during disaster scenarios. So we are really excited about this. And then, as I said, it's going to be 2 workshops. One workshop is going to be dedicated to this, technical approaches and how we can address the issues, etc. And then the second workshop is going to be related to workforce development, again, in this cybersecurity and data science, and which are the most pressing issues, at this time. So that's going to be an interesting workshop as well. So that we are hopefully planning that in the spring, and we're going to be also, again, involving you all through that, workshop, for that workshop. Jim, do you want to add some things?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've only been physically to one Beacon Council meeting, and when I saw the mix of public officials, private sector representatives, and fellow academics, it just seemed like, and when I looked at the overlapping or complementary, I should say, capabilities of the 3 universities, it seemed like a really interesting opportunity. And being able to bring the strengths together. And then one of the things, and one of the reasons we targeted NSF is because a lot of NSF work ends up in publications, which is not bad, but they would admit they don't have a great track record in translation to practice. And we saw this as an opportunity to set up not just a couple of workshops, but to form an ongoing activity that could take things coming out of the research space and bring them into practice, a pipeline, if you will. So I think the Beacon Council, I'm still getting to know it, but from what I see, it's a pretty unique activity, and seems to be doing, the other presentations this morning were very impressive, what you're doing together. And so anyway, we're pretty excited about being able to have found something and connect into national resources when needed.
Yuda, you may also want to, because you're also part of the, the organizing team, and you can also maybe comment on this unique opportunity, these 2 workshops, if you like.
Sure, with pleasure. I think that everybody is aware of the fact that cybersecurity has been an issue, that the bad guys have much more time than we do to play with the same tools, and that they always find a way around. It's like, and the AI on both parts keeps gaining importance because the bad guys use AI to attack, and the good guys need that too to be able to defend themselves. But in the end, also right after the crisis, attacks even on hospitals, I think, went up 5-fold. So it is a burning issue, and it is very appropriate that the 3 universities have found it, how should I say, impactful to join forces and to provide a continuum and to train as many professionals as possible. And it also complements the efforts of each university in terms of creating the academic environment. This takes it to a more practical level. So I'm very happy to see it happening, and lots of success.
So there was a question, I think, Christine, by Marek, and about the cybersecurity aspects of this initiative. I think it has 2 parts. So one, yes, we would like to create a hub. Miami is great. I used to live in Atlanta for several years, for almost a decade before moving down to Florida. And Atlanta became, and I saw it with my own eyes, how it became a big city in cybersecurity. So Miami, could do much better here. We have the great, the talent here, and the great universities here, and great community. And so I think we could, as always they say, that's the Silicon Beach. So we can create the best here, and then also help the best to stay here, And so that's our goal, the first part of Marek's question. And then the second part is that we would like to hopefully, as universities, help the workforce development, the economic development of the the region with research, conversational opportunities. There's so many research ideas in our labs that we come up with so many ideas. As Jim also mentions, that those usually published but never take off. But we are here to catalyze that. We bring our forces, as 3 universities, how we can help the colleagues in the city, how we can take it to the next level. So that's our goal basically. We are all excited and happy to collaborate and work all together. Yeah.
And building on your comments, Selçuk, I think that Miami, on top of everything you mentioned, also has something that's pretty unique, and that is the simulator, cybersecurity simulator at Miami-Dade Community College, Miami-Dade College, which is pretty unique in terms of hand-on, immersive practice.
Yes. So
there is the elements.
Yeah. So our goal is to bring all the all the pieces together, and then in fact we have other discussions going on between our universities, how we can also help each other. We have other different programs that are on the table that we are discussing with our colleagues, how we can help students do more research or do more training, and maybe doctoral studies. For Miami-Dade, for example, how students can do doctoral studies at FIU or So this is. I hope it answers your question, Marek.
And so I hope that within 6 months or less, we'll be able to see some great results and point at the real impact that has been created. I think there's a question, Maria Dreyfus, you have a question? You're on mute. Okay. Any other, Maria, you have a question or comment? All right. Is there anybody else who would like to make a comment? Or is there anybody else who'd like to criticize and give some positive feedback, criticizing feedback?
I think there's a question also in the Q&A for Charles.
Let me open up. Okay, so my question is for Charles. Regarding the modeling behind the social distancing detector, is the computer vision backed by a classification model? Yes. So a lot of the underpinning technology is using a library called OpenCV. If no one's familiar with that library, I would really recommend it. Take a look. The development of that project has been fantastic. Myself and a couple of others on the team have been prominent writers or authors toward that library. And so, yes, we're totally using classification model. We're dealing mainly with labeled data. So we are supervising the learning of the model. It's the fastest way. And we know exactly where the source of the data is coming from in that respect. And then there's another question. And is SafePath perhaps a mix of clustering and geofencing? On the backend side, yes. So when an individual person installs SafePaths and records the location, that stays locally. Only do they consent in sending that to a cloud infrastructure where we do the clustering and geofencing. But that project I am not an author in or writer in. That is a spin out from MIT, which is a non-for-profit organization. And now they're working directly with Miami-Dade and offering up those dashboards that you probably saw in the presentation to government entities, to healthcare officials. And now I think they're opening up an aspect for businesses. So business can actually open up a dashboard and see kind of the high traffic clustering area, or if there's a certain like COVID breakout in a certain public area, so that you can prepare and address for it. But that's all handling through Miami-Dade and SafePaths. I hope that makes sense.
You're on mute. Okay, I think you're on mute, Yuda.
So I was asking Christine if you'd like to take the next question. I see that Marcelo and Maria de Peña have raised their hands. Maria, are you able to chime in? Okay, then Marcelo, maybe, did you have a comment?
Yeah. So I remember the first time that we were discussing as part of the tech committee first meeting, the actions that we needed to perform, deploy, or develop in terms of helping the city for what was about to come. It was already happening, but Miami back then was not hitting so hard with COVID as it is in the last few weeks. So now it's even more needed, these kind of solutions that we have been building. I'm amazed on the outcomes and the results. And I just wanted to invite everyone. I think that our main responsibility now is to promote what we have achieved, right? So I know that the engineering team, as it was labeled before, and I love it, have been working so hard to push and launch those applications. And the website, the Miami Tech Works, it's an amazing website. But it will not make any impact if we don't start promoting crazy, you know, like we have to become an ambassador of the tool. So we need to make an effort as a committee and as a group and as a business team to make everyone aware that this actually exists, that people have access to those tools, that people can get coaching and that can get career support and opportunities, and that being laid off, it was not the last result or the worst news that they could have imagined. But they can also dream of what's next and what they can achieve now. So yeah, I just wanted to say that our main responsibility now as a team is actually promoting the tools and making everyone aware of the existence of it.
Thanks, Marcelo. And we'll go back to Maria. Maybe if you could try unmuting there. Okay, finally, hello, Maria.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Hope you are all staying safe with your families. I am so glad that I see this Miami Tech.Works up and running. We have two projects, one for the nonprofit side and one for the for-profit side, and it's been difficult to find talent to be able to work on those projects locally. Our goal is always to provide jobs to college students and even professionals for projects that are local to us. So kudos to the team that worked on the Miami Tech.Works program. We also have some workshops that have been IEEE certified for professionals on projects that we're working on. One of our team members, it's part of the IEEE Standards Committee for Artificial Intelligence and Ethics. And he's been trying to get the universities to bring out this workshop for students to actually promote the idea of using ethics in AI. So I'm glad that this is happening. I got Carrie, I got your link, your email, so I'll be chatting directly to you for those two. So thank you so much for putting this together and showing the initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating. Any other comments? And obviously, I think, as Marcelo did, and I think everybody agrees, the proof of the pudding is going to be now in the next couple of months with us actively taking these initiatives to the next stage. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Any other thoughts?
May I tag someone? I would love to nudge Ms. Carey to share a bit behind your thoughts. I know outreach is critical from your perspective too. I saw you nod, and that echoes Marcelo's comments. The Beacon Council is definitely helping to lead the marketing and outreach efforts, but Carey, just to, you know, you've done these sorts of projects before at different levels, and you know, you've done various video footage about Why Miami and everything. So what are your thoughts as far as the best way for everyone to really lean in and bring more energy around this? And I think you're on mute. Okay.
I'm thinking. That's a tough question. Number one, your email lists. One of the metrics we have for success are definitely click views and call to action registrants. And so if you have a newsletter, if you can send a dedicated email blast, let me know. We can get you the design, so it's easy, it's plug and play. We can get to the content. I'll write the logo, I'll write the copy. You just have to insert and send. So number one, that's it. The community members that joined this committee are all city leaders. And so I know you have big outreach. Two, connecting us to other organizations that are already working with the unemployed community, similar to Career Source Florida. And William was already talking to me about the city of Miami and their reskilling program and their center for reskilling. And so those are the people that we really need to reach, right? And so connections to other people, absolutely. Media, honestly, the community finds out, more importantly, through newspapers, TVs, ads, Facebook posts, Instagram posts. So we'll send out that press kit and then post it on your LinkedIn. I mean, just grassroots. Everybody post it on your LinkedIn, get excited about it, share, send it through WhatsApp. I think that's what works in South Florida also. I think the grassroots initiatives are what's gonna get us there. I think that's where to start. Yeah, but definitely the email blast. And honestly, and I just wanna thank the Beacon Council, because I know we're gonna have some resources for some paid advertising, which will get this grassroots efforts out to the next level. So if anybody is interested in also paid advertising and donating and volunteering talent or effort or funds for that, you can call me, you can reach me to the email that I dropped in the chat box. So, yes, one last one, actually, Refresh Miami, Why Miami. These are both organizations that I've worked closely with in the past, and we wanted to include some of their data that connect to those pages. So we'll be doing a lot of that as well, and cross-posting a lot of the information into Refresh and getting a ton of content through email drips from the Why Miami campaign. So I know Maria and Natalia were both on the call, but cross-promotion to platforms that already have higher track will also be really important.
Thank you. And Ken and Newton, did you have anything additional that comes to mind to share concerning how the importance of the community leaning in and to help this be successful?
I think Carrie hit on a lot of the tactics, and like Marcelo said, you know, we put amazing resources together, technology, human capital, mind share, really the power of this community, this coalition. Let's get it to people who need it. Now the work starts in promoting it. So let's try and help as many people as possible. And we have things set up so we'll be able to measure the impact and see how many people we're able to help, you know, find jobs and transition in their careers.
I concur. I think Carrie hit on all the high level items. Great job there. And I think really it's just to reiterate, we want the community to be involved. So if you do have, whether it's jobs or content, want to be participating in some workshops, please reach out. We encourage that. And this is a community initiative. Several partners within the community are already involved, but we're eager to have more in order to build this even further.
Thank you. Charles, how about you? I know you have some wants and needs for your project.
Yeah.
Sure.
The main need is really kind of introductions or partnerships to retail, commercial centers, anyone that's managing a public space. What we're looking to do is a couple of things. Number one, we want to deploy this out in the wild. We want to start working with very real data to optimize and improve the models that we have implemented on the computer vision. as well as really kind of get it out there that people can deploy this for themselves. And so if anyone's interested in taking on the project or adopting the solution, and by the way, this is a great way for organizations that have been looking at AI and not sure what it is and whether I should invest into that or not. This is an easy, low cost, low barrier way to start getting into it and using the power of it. In one case, when you deploy this, yes, it helps with social distancing and masks, but that same data could be used in many different ways, and you've already started an initiative internally to start leveraging that data. So again, any introductions to partners and really just getting the word out.
Excellent.
University Partners team, is there anything, I know that you have some wants and needs as well. It's in the form that we're circulating, but we welcome you to share with everyone.
So I have a couple of comments. The first one, we're going to be fully announcing the first workshop for anyone that wants to participate. That will come definitely through the Beacon Council as well. So once it becomes official, everyone will know about it. But I have another comment about Miami Tech Works, and there are many opportunities for upskilling there, and those are provided by pretty much everyone that is in this conversation today from the education side, and they are real, and they are really helping a lot of people, and even some of them are free and are actually looking for candidates right now. So even like I know from previous conversations, like even Maria that was talking a few minutes ago, she went through one of those training and got certified for free. So it's great to see how the Beacon Council is putting this in the hands of everyone in one single platform. Just take advantage of the platform, share with people that have lost their jobs, and this could really change their lives. So we did it with our hearts in our hands. We wanted to make it happen. It's here, it's real. Just help us share, help us help people that really need it.
I think you're on mute.
Thank you. So thanks everybody. Yes, we still have a few minutes, and if you'd like to either network among yourselves or make more comments here to everybody, we're eager to hear from you. So Christine, unless we have, or Mike, maybe, do you have any closing comments? Maybe Christine or Mike?
Hi, Yuda and Christine, and really everybody. It really has been fantastic listening in. Christine and Yuda have certainly kept me and the rest of our senior leadership team in the loop on all the progress that's being made. But actually sitting here listening to it, Christine knows that I planned on staying on for about the first 10 minutes or so. But as I started listening to the presentations from Charles, from Ken, from it was too interesting to pull back from. And it's clear that what you've developed is just sorely needed in our community. The university partnerships is really phenomenal. And I think these are just the kind of tools that's going to make a difference for us as we start to recover and really build toward becoming an incredible tech hub in the future. So really impressed with everything, really excited to be able to help promote this on behalf of the entire tech community here in Miami-Dade.
Awesome, thanks Mike, and thanks to the entire MDBC team.
Definitely.
And especially to Christine, of course. She's been an amazing partner, an amazing dynamo for all these projects. Thanks, Christine.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I'm excited. Now we get to really go. So it's just been wonderful energy. This is a tech and innovation committee, and knowing that, we exchanged texts at 3 a.m. this morning to hear how things were going, and midnight, and I'm excited for what's to come. And we are living in very unusual times, but this is an opportunity for us all to do what we know how to do, to create solutions to help our business community across industries. So I'm really excited also I want to highlight my colleagues that oversee the other industries. They're participating. They brought on board their committee as well, because tech and innovation is across the board. So I'm looking forward to really pressing go, and workshops, helping those that are displaced. So it'll be a wonderful collaboration that we'll be able to report on, I think, towards the end of the year as well.
Great. And I see lots of comments in the chat box on the side. So please do, thanks for all the comments. And also please do keep in touch with each other and with us, Christine or myself and the team, and we'll be very happy. And of course, Ken, who will be taking over as the chair in the fall. So I'll be happy to hand this over to him and continue supporting you, Ken, after that. So, but again, I'd encourage everybody to please do keep in touch, and let's build on this momentum to make it a huge success. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. And we'll see you at the next committee meeting, where actually we'll be introducing Ken to start his term. He has a lot of exciting plans in place, and it's going to be a wonderful transition with the arc of Yuta's work. And Yuta will be on board helping with initiatives as well. So looking forward to seeing you all, and we'll have follow-up information from this event as well.
Outstanding. Thank you, everybody.
All right, everyone. Take care. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.